I think one of the biggest motivators in life is satisfaction. You could almost define the meaning of life as one's search for satisfaction. I think a lot of what life is the trial and error searching for things that satisfy us. And once we achieve satisfaction, once we do the things that we find satisfying, we are more likely to want to do them again. You could even say we are more likely to become addicted to them. Therefore, in most cases, what we find satisfying defines us. It defines who we are. It defines everything about us. It defines what we like to do. It defines what we're passionate about. It defines the direction we choose to go down in life. And I think it's difficult for some people to find satisfaction, which might lead them to expand their scope of where they search for it and how far they are willing to go to find it. I think most people discover alcohol on this search for satisfaction. And that alone, to some degree, explains why some people drink and some people don't. Because people who don't drink don't find it very satisfying. They just don't really like the way that alcohol makes them feel, so they don't pursue it. On the other hand, every single person who drinks has at least that one thing in common. They get some sort of satisfaction from it. It doesn't matter if you're an occasional drinker or if you drink every single day. If you drink, you do it because it makes you feel satisfied. And if it wasn't satisfying, you would never put yourself in the position to get addicted to it. But the question you have to ask yourself is, if all drinkers get satisfaction from drinking, why do only some get addicted? Let's compare two types of drinkers. A person who can have just one drink and then stop, and a person who can't stop once they start. I believe the answer of why these two people treat alcohol differently lies somewhere in the search for satisfaction. An occasional drinker is able to stop drinking even after one drink because they feel satisfied. They feel fulfilled or content with just one drink. But an alcoholic will never feel satisfied. It doesn't matter how much they drink, they will never reach the point where they feel fulfilled or content. So why is that? Why is one drink never enough? How can an alcoholic find drinking alcohol so satisfying, yet no amount of it will ever satisfy them? Think of it this way. When you are hungry, you get the craving to eat food. So to satisfy your craving, you eat. But as soon as your stomach starts to get full, your hunger starts to go away. And for the most part, you no longer have the desire to continue eating. You become satisfied with the amount of food you've eaten. And to continue eating would not be very satisfying. So you don't. You stop eating. This is how I think normal people drink alcohol. They get the craving to drink. They have a couple beers, they get a buzz, but then some kind of alarm goes off in their brain that tells them, okay, I've had enough. I'm satisfied. I'm full. And then they stop drinking. However, people who suffer from alcoholism don't ever feel full. No alarm goes off in their brain that tells them to stop. For whatever reason, their brain never tells them that they feel full. Instead, it's actually the opposite. The more they drink, the more they feel the need to drink. And drinking alcohol somehow turns into the most important thing at that moment. They need it. If you are someone who suffers from alcoholism, there is clearly something wrong. Something has gone wrong in the way your brain responds to alcohol. If you experience anything like that, that is not normal. I'm not going to say that alcoholism is a disease, because it's not. And I think people often misuse that term as a way of avoiding accountability. But I will go as far as saying that I think alcoholism is a mental disability. For whatever reason, the alcoholic brain does not function like everyone else's. But I think I know why that is. Now, if you are someone who can't stop drinking after one drink, I want you to think back to when you first started drinking. You haven't always had a drinking problem. You weren't born an alcoholic. Even when you first started, you weren't immediately addicted to it. It hasn't always been there. It's a problem that has developed over time. Something went wrong in the way that your brain functions under the influence of alcohol. At some point, the way your brain reacts to alcohol changed. It didn't change overnight, but it did change. So what happened? What went wrong? What changed? Why do some people become addicted to alcohol and some don't? There are 8 physiological requirements for human survival. 8 human needs: air, water, food, shelter, sanitation, sleep, space, and touch. I believe that's 8. And if you suffer from alcoholism, I'm willing to bet that your brain has bumped alcohol right up to the top of that list, even though it was never even part of that list to begin with. Once you start drinking, alcohol, in the opinion of your brain, is just as important to you as the air that you breathe. Which obviously is ridiculous. Yet, wouldn't you agree that that's exactly how it feels? It doesn't matter what happens tomorrow. It doesn't matter how hungover you'll get. It doesn't matter how much work you miss, how much money you spend. It doesn't matter how stupid your decisions become. The only thing that matters in that moment is consuming more alcohol. And that is a behavior that you probably don't have towards anything else in your life. Not even your loved ones. I believe, and you can agree with me or not, but I believe if you are an alcoholic, that is because at some point in your drinking career, you somehow crossed the wires in your brain. Your brain got hijacked, and it now interprets alcohol as being one of the necessities for survival. That's why as soon as you start drinking, you flip the switch. And alcohol becomes the most important thing in that moment. And so you feed that uncontrollable desire to continue drinking until you either run out or pass out. And that doesn't sound very satisfying, does it?